All right, everybody. Hey, now's the time. Thank you so much for your patience. We are ready for our next run of the evening. So like we had mentioned, we have some Hades 3 weapons modded featuring MadzBrutal and an incredible commentary team. I'll let her introduce them all. So let's get right to it.
One, go.
All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Hades. I'm MadzBrutal. You may have seen me this morning. I was running some Spyro Reignited, but I am now here in the Underworld to bring you some modded 3-weps. I have a commentary couch here of some of the most skilled Hades players we have, so I'll let them introduce themselves.
Hi, I'm arcalena.
Hey, I'm Trash Lappers.
And yeah, so there's Agrius. We are going to be running modded, first of all. So we'll do a quick reset here to bring us back to the House of Hades. And the category we'll be running is 3 weapons. It is what it sounds like. We're going to beat Dad 3 times with 3 different weapons. So I'm going to do a quick mirror change here. And grab my Beowulf shield, and we're gonna get rolling right away.
Been here the whole time. Which to choose?
All right, so we're gonna just hop right into this. Get moving. I'll do a quick countdown here. We'll start in about 3, 2, 1.
All right, it's time to
Okay,
shine.
so I will leave it up to y'all to kind of explain the beginning here of how the run and the weapons works.
Okay, so like Mads said at the beginning, this is gonna be a modded weapons run, and those of you who have played Hades, that first reward screen might look a little different, with there being 4 rewards. That is one of the mod changes, that our first boon will have the attack, special, dash, and cast. And Mads took cast. So here she's playing the Beowulf shield, which its gimmick is you're able to load your cast into your shield, and when you complete your charge attack, it releases your cast as an AoE. And Mads took the Poseidon cast, Flood Flare, because it's really big. And it also opens up one of the prerequisites for one of the key boons we're going to be looking for. So here we are in the first biome, or region, Tartarus. That's getting some luck with the enemies. Witches. So in each room, there is a certain point threshold you need to reach before you can go to the next room, and that's going to increase as it goes. And different enemies are worth different values, and witches are, well, not the lowest, they're second lowest, and they just like to stay in their side of the room and just...
Yeah, they have low value, and they run away from you, essentially. They're spread out. It takes a long time to kill them.
Yeah, basically the least ideal enemy. But as you can see in the last room, we picked up our hammer, and again, if you've played Hades before, that screen also looks different. You saw that it only has 1 option instead of 3. That's another benefit of the mod pack that we use, where we can pre-select our first hammer, just because it's such an important part of a good build in a Hades run that it's incredibly valuable to get the one that we want first. In this case, we got Charge Shot, which also totally changes how Beowulf works. Instead of loading your casts and then doing a bull rush slide, it basically turns Beowulf into a giant bow with a of casts on the end.
And there we just got a story room where we got to see Sickness and Woldy, and story rooms are a free room. Free rooms are the room that you don't have to play, so we always want to see free rooms, because every biome has a set chamber duration. In this case, it's 12 for Tartarus. Less combats means more fat. Which means
There we go. That was a good room.
That's a very nice room.
And we're looking for Artemis here. Our god pool consists of Ares and Poseidon right now. Artemis is really like the only god we want to be seeing.
Mentioned that how Poseidon opened up one of the prerequisites for one of the boons we want. Artemis will provide the second prerequisite. And if we don't see this in here in Tartarus, that's not ideal, but we can make it work because in the bottom left-hand screen, you can see that little conch shell is Poseidon's keepsake. That allows us to determine what our next boon will be. So, oftentimes in Hades, we'll pick a god keepsake that is the god we want to start off with.
Yeah, and now we're coming into our first boss, which is the Fury Sisters. In this case, we're getting Electo. And because you might see in the top left that we have 15 heat, which you might ask, why are we using heat? It's basically to make some of the fights faster. The first two boss fights will go faster. And then also we have forced overtime, which just makes enemies move faster, spawn faster, speeds up the entire game by 40%.
Oof. I'm glad to be out of that Tartarus. Okay. So yeah, I'm going to be switching over to the Artemis keepsake here.
Those riches of Tartarus can be delightful.
What do I get?
Get a nice skeletal lure. I'm actually also going to take a second to... Okay. Configure things on my computer. My computer is running really slowly there throughout that biome.
Yeah, and now we're moving into the second biome, which is the Asphodel Meadows, except for some reason the river of lava has overflowed into the meadows, so it's a lava biome.
No use.
Would now
And
be a
there's
good
the
time for a
Artemis.
quick donation?
Yeah, go for it.
Sure.
Okay, awesome. So we actually have $50 from Zeruvius, who says, "Let's go, Mad. Super psyched to see all wonderful gamers representing the Hades community. Best of luck, and don't forget to gift that boulder and pet that dog."
Will do. Thanks, Iru. Okay.
Rubius, known Boldy gifter. And there we go. So we got our Artemis boon that we wanted, which is Artemis Attack. That's
Nice.
going to open up the Mirage Shot Duo.
Yeah, and we have our god pool full right now because I bought that Athena at the end, but I don't have any money. That Athena at the end of the Tartarus biome. Yeah, maybe explain god pools.
So, naturally, or like, just in the course of the game, using keepsakes, you'll get up to 4 gods, and once you hit 4 gods, counting Hermes, which have seen the orange flame god,
Good enough to
you can only get up to 4 gods, and then the only way to get more is by using keepsakes. So, in this case, where we're looking for a specific boon out of either Poseidon or Artemis, we want to make sure only 4 gods in our push. Say if we have 3 gods, it could be any of those 3 or some other god. Got it? But because Mads has 4 gods, every time we get a boon, it has a 50 chance to be Poseidon or Artemis. Worked out because now we have Mirage Shot. And on paper, Mirage Shot says it creates a second cast that does 30% of the first cast. But the way the damage is like layered, coded, instead of it creates a second cast that just does 100% damage. So this basically just reads do twice as much cast damage. This is mostly on Beowulf, but any player. It just does that. Beowulf uses all flares, which are AOEs rather than projectiles. There's other flares in the game.
What's the matter,
But
Bernie? You seem quite
We
upset.
probably won't see them.
yeah.
Hopefully we don't have to
I
see
hope
them.
that, that'll be a bad situation if we,
Yeah, and now we're in the second boss. This is the Lernian Hydra,
oh, whoops.
which this is where I mentioned earlier that we use heat to make the first two bosses harder. It's mostly for learning because this arena is a lot smaller than the base arena, where you can see these heads, they're not too far apart, whereas in the base arena they're going to be all the way across the screen from each other, which is just a time loss.
Come on, there we go.
And Beowulf really excels at clearing up these grouped heads. You see that Mads able to kill multiple heads with a single volley of casts. That just speeds up the fight a lot, and that is one of Beowulf's big strengths, is how fast it kills bosses. 'Cause that cast damage in general is one of the
Keepsakes hold power.
strongest things to do in this game.
Oh,
Beowulf
should
is
have rolled that maybe.
the queen of casts. One of the queens, anyway.
Yeah, and we see Mads taking the Hourglass keepsake now, which that will extend
Much nicer.
item durations that you can buy temporarily from wells by 8 chambers, which is really, really good on Beowulf because the cast items that you can buy from wells would be some of the strongest items in the game.
Here we're in the third biome, Elysium, which is where runs go to die. If they haven't died already, anyway.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of this one.
We're actually getting some pretty good enemies in these
Yeah.
first 2 chambers, though. And I'm not jinxing it, but chariots are probably the best enemy you can see in the first 2 chambers.
What else we got? Juicy.
Ooh, there we go. That's exactly what we want to see. That, however, is not.
No.
So we saw a mid shop next to a free room,
Those for you, mate.
and that free room can't show up again. So,
It is.
but that item that Mads bought increases her cast damage by 50%, and because she has the bone hourglass, that's gonna last for 14 rooms instead of 6. And because Rashai makes that there's an extra cast, each of those casts are doing 50% more. So
A lot of damage.
This Ike's
cast items are really good on Beowulf, especially when you have Mirage Shot.
Okay, now we're coming into the Elysium mini-boss, where this is another quality of life change from our mod pack, where you're guaranteed to see the butterfly ball instead of Asterius,
all for now, thank
just because Asterius just has a cutscene in the beginning and the end, and it's basically like a 15-second longer fight, no matter what, even if you just kill them instantly at the same. Just a big time loss that you really can't control.
Sometimes bugs happen where Asterius just refuses to leave the room, and we're playing an RTA category here, like free weapons. You're just waiting for him to leave. You know. I did mention there's RTA categories and IGT categories. Real-time attack, and in-game time. The most popular category in this game is any heat. I'm using the in-game timer, which you can see in the top right-hand corner, and it's just really convenient to be able to pause the game, make decisions, go to the bathroom, without having to worry about the timer running. For these multi-weapon runs, we do time them in real time. Ooh, very nice.
There we go. Get a 34 skip though.
Yeah, that's another one of the other quality of life improvements from the mod pack. You might have seen that little swirly above the door. That just indicates which rooms can have a fountain.
Yeah, and Fountain's just another one of the free rooms. I don't think we've seen it.
That's the first one. Yeah, that's exactly where we want to see a free room 34. Here we have the Heroes of Elysium, DCS and Asterius. Casually, this can be one of the harder fights in the game, just because you have to kill 2 of them, but Beowulf will make short work of these 2 enemies. Giant AoE, lots of damage.
Now they're gone.
Yeah.
That was a pretty good Elysium. I'm very happy with that.
Yeah, not too many of the notorious enemies.
Enjoy yourselves. Got anything else?
There we go.
Got another cast stone out of the well, which with the hourglass keepsake is going to last us until the end of the run. So that's just an extra 33% total damage for this build. Another very strong thing that you can just buy out of the well for 40 gold.
Fighters are back.
Here we're in the Temple of Styx, the last area of the game.
What?
We're going into these tunnels to find a satyr sac to feed our good boy Cerberus. In the base game,
Do that.
there's 5 tunnels. It's completely random which tunnel we're gonna get the satyr sac out of. Mod pack, it's always gonna be the second tunnel. So that just keeps runs from dying at the end to something that's completely out of your control.
Yeah, this is probably the #1 biggest quality of life improvement that was most requested stuff. Because it's just, you're playing for 12 minutes real time, sometimes more, and then you just have basically a coin flip, 50% chance to get the best possible room luck.
I would
Which
go
is
as
just
far as to
kinda
say
hurts.
that the Styx RNG might be like why the mods exist at all. It's probably the #1 reason people wanted them.
Yeah, there was a history of the mod pack where things, the first version was pretty sparse in terms of what it changed. It was the satyr sac,
I can't.
like one of the mini bosses. It was very little, but as community banded together and decided, hey, these improvements are really good. Let's try to remove things that are out of the player's control. And now there's a lot of we just
Yeah.
fed Cerberus there, so we don't have to fight him. Just give him a snack and move on.
And now we're at the last boss, which, surprise, spoiler warning too late, it's Hades, our dad. The final boss of Hades, the video game, is Hades, the Greek god.
Okay, goodbye.
Here, Madsuri just cleared that first phase with her massive damage with Beowulf. Like I mentioned earlier, Beowulf excels at killing bosses. Here, and that's the...
Come on, there we go.
First,
There we go. That's the first phase, and like all good bosses, there's a second phase, where his health bar comes right back up.
No. Oh, I thought those were gonna go out there.
Oh. But yeah, Mads is doing great in this fight, just chunking his health down with Beowulf. It does so much damage, he's basically almost dead.
There we go.
And there we go. Nice first run, and you noticed on the side there, we still had one use of that braid that we bought way back in Elysium, which just shows how powerful Beowulf with an hourglass can be.
Name of Hades.
And with that, we head back down the River Styx. I guess I always forget that the cutscenes are pulled out. There's usually cutscenes here that we take out with the mods, and I don't even remember they're there now. It's been so long on mods. But yeah, we're gonna swap over to the Eris rail is what we're gonna do next. So quick mirror chains. I had it on Legacy, which gave us a better chance of getting those duo boons, the Mirage shot that was so crucial. To Bayo, we don't really have to, we don't really like make or break our builds off of duos on this, so I just opt for Pride to get higher overall rarity. And away we go, starting with Zeus.
Going to the Eris rail, or the gun, that also shoots rockets. The Greek weapon, the gun with rockets, yes. But the gimmick with Eris is that when you get hit by your special, you get a 75% global bonus damage for 4 seconds.
Let me have it.
And this affects everything. So the reason why Mads took Zeus at the beginning is that now these little gunshots also create lightning bolts. Those get buffed by Eris. And just getting a lot of sources of damage is exactly what you want to see on Eris. They all get stronger.
And we're moving into our hammer here, which is Rocket Bomb, which changes the special. If you notice, it was lobbing. There's a little target that you have to stand in to get the buff. Well, this just makes it into a rocket that shoots straight in front of you, and it does 80 damage instead of 50. So you can just get that buff instantly by just standing right up close to an enemy, and it does a lot more damage.
Also opens the potential of our second hammer for another quite powerful interaction that is totally intended to be grim that way.
Oh, I thought this dude died.
No way.
Much better enemies this starter so far.
Yeah, so far.
Same idea. Get through the game as quickly as possible, and now with a different weapon.
Whenever you can't do that.
I would have taken Blade Dash if it was there.
So Blade Dash is another source of flat damage that also gets increased by the Ares buff. Typically we're looking for Poseidon's Dash because it does a lot of damage and it's huge, but as many runners have found, you can kind of just get by with whatever on Ares. It's a very easy weapon to pick up and do well with it, but it also just has a lot of room for optimization too. It's usually the first weapon people new to speedrunning pick up.
Yeah, Ares just has a very... Oh!
Hold on. I don't actually
yes,
know.
you're fishing.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
I have never actually fished. that was an accidental fish. So I don't actually know what I'm looking for.
Yeah, another good thing about the Ares build is that Zeus attack, it's not just creating lightning bolts, they're chain lightning balls that will hit one enemy and then go off to others. So especially in something like Tartarus, where there's a lot of smaller, weaker enemies, it can do a lot of work on its own to extra enemies that you're not even hitting with the rail's actual attack.
Furies again. Back to Selecto.
Get around the traps over here for a little extra damage.
Selecto does tend to be one of the scarier, let's say that in speedrunning. This game, she does a lot of damage. It's not uncommon to lose a Death Defiance or a life here, but Mads also has a lot of health.
Yeah, I have a
Hear that
lot
very
of health.
cleanly.
I also, I shouldn't have actually went in there. I also had a Vengeance boon, so I kind of was trying to take some damage a little bit to speed it up because I don't really have many of the boons I want right now. I'd like to have seen another Zeus, seen a Poseidon, gotten something onto my special. Didn't get any of that, but we could get Rush Delivery here, which would kind of make up for a lot of the lean build.
Yeah, and Rush Delivery is Hermes boon, which Elena mentioned earlier, is that fifth god that you can pick up. What Rush Delivery does is it turns any bonus movement speed into damage. And let's see if we get it. There we go. Yeah, so even at common rarity, this Rush Delivery turns our movement speed into 50% extra damage, which in our first Hermes, we got Hyper Sprint, which gives us 100% movement speed after dashing. So we basically just got another 50% global damage added to everything with those two boons. Very, very strong.
We're pretty much always dashing. This game just, mobility, iframes, makes the rail shoot a second shot. It's not really noticeable, but when you stand and shoot, it's slower than when you're dashing and shooting. Combined with Pepper Sprint Rush Delivery. Always want to be dashing, get that extra.
And we're picking up our Poseidon boon. That's the keepsake that Mads took, and we're hoping to get Title Dash here. There we go.
Let's make some way.
Which is just another really strong boon. It has a big AoE all around you. It knocks enemies back, which can do additional damage if they hit other enemies or run into walls. And it also just has a really high base damage on its own. So when you combine that with the Eris buff of another 75% and the Rush Delivery of another 50%, we're just going to be doing a lot of damage just by getting close to enemies.
Yeah, you can see how fast Mad cleared up this mini boss. Dashed into them and they die.
Yeah, and speaking of this mini boss, that is another change in the mod pack. The third mini boss in Asphodel is the Barge of Death, which has an 18-second cutscene, and it's just a normal combat, which is slower than any of the mini bosses. So it's just a huge time loss, and we replaced it with the Witch's Circle there.
That was a really good Chamber 22 as well. I just want to say that.
That's like one of enemy patterns you can get in a 22. Just 2 Armored Bone Rakers followed by another 2 Armored Bone Rakers.
Like this learning.
And we're going to be clearing out Lerny probably pretty quick here. Very strong build. Very solid run so far.
Kind of going into Elysium though, I'm thinking about like command phase, the things that I want for my build still. I would like to see another Zeus. I think I'm going to force Artemis to get something on my special. And we're looking for another hammer to try to get the really strong combo that Elena alluded to earlier of cluster rockets. So those are kind of the things I'm looking for going forward. So I don't have to do like thinking when the doors appear, right? I don't want to be like weighing all my options. I want to kind of just be able to react. So kind of prioritize those kinds of things.
That is definitely one of the key skills when it comes to RTA runs. In IGT, like I mentioned, you can pause, you can take your time to think out which one's your best decision, what you want to do next. In RTA, you just gotta think ahead and just go. Oftentimes, it's better to make a suboptimal decision quickly than just make the correct decision and take forever.
Temperature.
So, like Matt said, oftentimes we're thinking rooms ahead of what we want to see for our build, and we want to prioritize. Here we have the infamous enemies of Elysium, the
Yeah.
Wait, what are they called?
Blue fellas. Exalted?
I think they're exalted, yeah.
The blue dudes.
But basically, blue dudes.
Blue dudes.
When they die, they leave this eyeball that you have to kill again, and it's just, not only are they low pointed, you have to kill them twice, and it's not fun. But here we're seeing the second hammer, and we're gonna hope that Mads gets their bomb. Yeah.
We're also seeing the other, not so great enemy, the little flame wheels, the mini chariots, that
Kit
also
Kats.
just kind of spawn in forever, and a million of them. You don't have to kill them twice, but you do have to kill the one that's going to spawn right after it.
Unfortunately, we did not see. Oh, that's again the side to side free rooms.
Yeah, and unfortunately, yeah, we didn't get cluster rockets, so we are just going to be going with that one rocket for the rest of the run.
You hear just how different this Elysium is compared to the last one. All these enemies that spawn in and have to kill them multiple times. Spawn again. Oh, never mind, actually.
Yeah, we're still not getting that second Zeus. I don't think we've seen a second Zeus yet
No,
this
we
run,
haven't.
which is pretty unfortunate because Eris really wants to see a boon called Static Discharge, which is jolted, which basically, when you hit an enemy with a Zeus boon, they're going to get a status effect where if they attack, they'll take a bunch of damage. And, you know, we're always attacking with our Zeus attack on Eris, so it's basically just free damage anytime an enemy attacks.
Which is also buffed by Eris and Rush Delivery.
And you kind of see though how like Eris's 75% damage buff kind of, Jesus, so much, not Zeus, kind of makes up for some of the like the lack in the build. Like it can still go decently fast, right? Which is kind of I think why it's such a forgiving weapon when you have a 75% damage boost. Like,
Yeah, like
doesn't
pretty much
matter
every
much.
weapon wants rush delivery, which, you know, is 50% at common, 75% at rare, and 100% at epic. Eris just gets 75% damage boost built into it.
Yeah, and again, really unfortunate we're not seeing Zeus, but that's kind of the risk that we take in these runs where, you know, we forced Artemis into Elysium when we already had a 4-god pool. So now we have a 5-god pool, which gives us 20% chance to see our 5 different gods, which, you know, usually taking the Artemis is still worth it anyway. And you'll probably see a Zeus anyway. We're just getting a little unlucky.
Lucky these enemies.
Yeah, and like, I'm taking the health. Probably should have went to the shop there, but I just felt like I wasn't gonna get a Zeus, so I went through here. Yeah, it's a numbers game, right? You're weighing your odds on the fly for different outcomes.
Yeah, ultimately, Hades is a roguelike. Every run's going to be different. Lots of RNG in this game, and we do our best to mitigate it with the mod pack, but there's only so much you can do, and a lot of this game is learning how to anticipate your RNG, just taking decisions that give you the best chances. Sometimes you can do everything right, and the game just says no.
No thanks.
Sometimes you can gamble on every decision and just win.
That's true. That's true.
And we're, despite all those bad enemies in the Elysium, we're coming out about the same time as we did on Beowulf, I think.
Yeah.
That just kind of speaks to Eris's strength as a weapon. It's also kind of especially good at dealing with mobs of enemies compared to other weapons.
No Zeus on this door. Yeah, they kind of also, I kind of had to force Artemis into Elysium as well because none of the gods I had in my pool were especially good to put on my special. I guess I could have put Poseidon on there, but I really just kind of valued that over a higher chance of getting another Zeus.
Yeah, definitely. Being able to get that crit, which is what Artemis does, on your rocket, which is already getting boosted by Eris and Rush Delivery, can just make that a really powerful tool. And if you had gotten Cluster Rocket, then when those crit, it's just die.
Yeah, would absolutely not have cared about Jolted or any other bone if we landed Cluster Rockets.
Yeah, there is a Zeus down there. I'm not going to go get it though. Oh, I didn't look. Was there an anvil?
It was a
There
Hermes.
was a Hermes,
Okay.
yeah.
So, these two rewards that Mads took, the money and the heart, this is like very small time optimizations when it comes to real time. There's no menu you have to open up and pick a boon. Just pick the reward and you keep going. And when, if you decide your build's not great, but the rewards aren't what we're looking for. Sometimes it's better just to take a reward that doesn't have a menu and save like a second or two, than try to get a slight benefit to your build.
Yeah, what was it? Artie and Poseidon? I guess Hydraulic I could have gotten. I guess Sea Storm was there. I just felt like it wasn't worth the gamble. Just take the
Ready for another go?
no menus.
Yeah, it's very rare that a 1, 2, 3 second menu for just the Hades fight is gonna make up just skipping it.
Yeah. Something we haven't talked about yet is, if you notice at the beginning of this fight, we called Meg to come in and help us, and basically what Meg does is she summons some circles in a line around an enemy. They deal 2,500 damage, which is just a really nice chunk, and it's the most useful summon in the game. Anatos does 3,500, I think. It's a little bit more, but it's
25.
quite slow.
I think.
So
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah,
yes,
you're talking about
we'll
Thanatos.
usually just go with Meg because, you know, it does enough damage for most of the enemies in the game, and it's just so much faster. It really helps with mini bosses, especially.
Something here that we're kind of getting to see is the call that That's stuck with her keepsake. The Hades keepsake gives us Hades Call, which allows us to use his darkness ability and give us a damage boost and go invisible very briefly. It also has an added effect of causing enemies to repeat their last move. So in the first phase, Hades can go invisible, and that wastes a lot of time. So if you use darkness when he doesn't move, he'll repeat that attack and buy you some time.
Okay, on to our
That was Eris.
last weapon. That was Eris, and we're going back to the cast weapons here. I guess, Lana, if you have anything to shout out or donos or anything, this would probably be a good time to hop in.
Yeah, for sure. So we have a $20 donation from Mog888 who says, "Hi, I'm Mads, Arc Lapras, Lana. Hope y'all are well. Here's to saving the booba." So if you have no clue what we mean, we're raising money for Rethink Breast Cancer. So we are indeed saving the booba. Thank you so much for your donation.
All right, let's see if we can get one good run here.
We're moving to the Haribo, which, like Beowulf, is a cast weapon. We can load our cast into our weapon and shoot him out.
Yeah, we took the Aphrodite keepsake because that's the cast we want, but we did get our hammer first, which is Flurry Shot, which normally the bow, you pull it back, you charge it, then, you let it rip. But Flurry Shot just sends out one little arrow, no charge, and it does good damage, but one of the more important things is that it's instant. So you can just get your cast out really quick, good, fast chunks of damage.
It's one of the two hammers of choice when it comes to the Haribo. The other one is Triple Shot, which, as the name suggests, shoots 3 arrows. You don't have that quick shot for your cast, but you do get triple the damage on your attack, so some people prefer that extra damage for when your build doesn't quite come together, and some people prefer that quick cast.
Yeah, and normally Aphrodite cast is one of the least used casts in the game, but it actually has just perfect synergy with Haribo, where, I don't know if you mentioned, but Hera, you load up the cast, you shoot them out, and with Afrocast, they're short-ranged, high damage, but since you can shoot them, you can get them over to the enemy instantly at a long range, and they also drop right where they hit the enemy, so you can just pick them up almost instantly, as opposed to pretty much every other cast, which likes to keep going into the wall, wherever that wall is.
Or off map. You don't have your cast, and you're just
I would like none of these.
playing a bow if that doesn't do anything. So there, Mads just picked up a boon for Hera. So the base effect of Hera, in addition to, the whole cast gimmick, is that it decreases the time for cast to separate from enemies. Normally, when your cast hits an enemy, it gets stuck on them, and they take more damage, and they eventually fall out. When your entire build relies on cast, you don't really want that to happen, so Hera reduces that to 5 seconds. Mad's got the quick reload Hermes boom, which then drops that to 0.5 seconds. That just really helps enemies where we can't one-shot them to drop the cast and go back to the shooting forecast.
We're getting a pretty nice god pull here. We have Artemis on attack, which is just good damage, crits. And then we also found Poseidon for our special, which we're not really going to use the special on Hera, but it does open Mirage Shot. Mirage Shot doesn't do double damage on Hera like it does on Bayo, but it is still a nice little buff if you can find it.
Okay.
Yes. Team 1? It was like really early, right?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
the first run we saw 1 Chaos.
Yeah, it was on Eris, and I just got like a 35% or 30 plus 35 health boost or something. So Chaos has not
Yeah,
been too useful to us.
Yeah, that's pretty unfortunate because Eris, of the 3 weapons that we're playing, Eris benefits probably the least from Chaos. Whereas Chaos can offer you really, really strong cast options for Hera and Bayo. Basically the same things you can get in Wells.
Or also just free.
Yeah.
Yeah, right here, Mads is fighting a different Fury Sister. pretty fast. This is the least ideal of the Furious fights, because so when Mads phased her, the screen went dark, and we had to wait to drop to the next arena. It's very slightly slower, but you know, every second.
Try another one, maybe.
Fast.
Okay,
There we go.
heading up.
Thank you, Chaos.
So Mads has picked up a Light of Ixion, which has a Chaos Gate spawn in the next available room. Mads took the Demeter keepsake because she's going to be looking for a boon called Snowburst to
Sulfur smell.
shore up one of Hera's shortcomings. Hera does a lot of damage to single targets. You load those casts, you throw them all into one enemy, then you go grab them and do it again. But with a lot of small enemies, it can struggle. So we're going to be hoping to find that Snowburst.
Yeah, and there on Chaos we picked up an extra stone, which the way that Chaos boons work is you take a curse for either 3 or 4, sometimes 5 chambers. In this case, we're down 42 max health. That's for 4 chambers, but after that, we're going to get an extra cast stone, which is just great for any cast weapon.
Power of the gods.
Yeah, you can see
Um,
I yeeted one of my casts out into the lava there, and I was playing that room with only 2 casts, so you can see how much slower that went. Having an extra one, 4 instead of 3, is a lot faster.
Witches.
All 3 witches.
Hey, look, it's Meg.
Yeah, here we're going to be using Meg again to strip the armor off of all 4 witches at once and clean them up very quickly. There's Snowburst, not having to even roll for it is really nice.
Yeah, we can
Basically,
save those
Snowburst
rolls for the
does-
wells later, is what we really want them for. Nice.
This what Snowburst does is, armored enemies are worth more. They usually don't take that much long energy compared to, you know, how much more points you get. Well, as you can see, when Mads is loading Chaos into her bow, there's this little AoE burst of ice that just gives a little more AoE damage that here is.
Oh my goodness, I thought that. Oh my goodness, I thought it was dead. Then I just got
Yeah, this
stuck in the lava.
Chaos Curse is starting to hurt.
I'll take it.
Max health reductions. Starting to back to punish.
We'll get a patty later.
Yeah, Patty's always there.
Yeah, or not there. Like to say.
Lady Artemis.
Now we're back to health, and we have an extra Chaos, and then we also got Mirage out. That was a
Moving on.
really nice room, and we're going to Lerny.
Cheers, mate.
Yeah, that's actually one case where you're maybe almost kind of glad to not get a free room, because we did still have 1 chamber on that reduced
True.
max health curse, which is really dangerous going into Lerny.
Been avoiding it for the most part, but it's very common for runners to take what we call the Lerny tax, using the Death Defiance here. Very common. Lots of projectiles, lots of lavas, lots of like slam. See how much more damage Cass is doing now with an extra cast, and then those casts also being accompanied by.
Come on, come on. There we go.
There we go. Didn't
There
lose
we
the
go.
Yeah.
Not even close.
Yeah, it can be really easy to just throw your cast out into the lava in some of these chambers, and then you're playing down one. I did that like twice there. Okay. We're gonna do the bone hourglass again.
Hydra never takes my feedback.
I'm gonna roll
Let's
this.
see what else.
Okay. Save my money.
Onward.
Eddie, please.
Yeah, just to mention, like, another thing is that you know, the casts are red when they're on the floor, and MadzBrutal is very red. It can be really hard to see those, but we do have a colorblind accessibility option for the mod pack, which is really nice.
Almost there.
That was a really nice room.
Really good first room.
Pretty much exactly what we want to see. 2 waves with 2 chariots each.
More chariots.
Very nice.
Two chariots. Probably 2 waves. Maybe not. Expected.
Oh, a little witch hanging out.
What's up? They were just in the back.
Yeah. Well.
Probably a good time. Anything.
Yeah, for sure. So Paperette donates $5 and references the art showcase tomorrow, saying, "Sad no Boldy since Boldy is best. So let's go Deuce Alert." So for those of you who don't know, we do have 2 emotes that are going to be duking it out to see what Scala Kitty will be drawing tomorrow morning, and the Deuce Alert emote is in the lead. So that's what we're rooting for right now.
I am partial to Boldy. I got my Boldy here on my water bottle.
Oh.
Olympus, I accept this message.
Wow. So we are coming into our second hammer on Hera, which, while not as strong as cluster rockets, we could get something like twin or triple shot, which can double or triple our attack damage, which it's not the main source that you're gonna do on Hera, but it is still really solid damage. We can pick up something like that. And we get twin. Twin shot, as the name says, you shoot 2 arrows out, and they just have reduced range, but they do full damage.
Come on.
And here you can see that Mads is using Snow Burst to clean up these little eyeballs, which is just really nice, because you don't want to have to use your whole big, strong, fully loaded casts in order to just kill a little eyeball with a little bit of damage. If you can take care of those with, you know, your side AoE damage, that is just a really nice thing to have on her.
Olympus.
No.
No free
Yeah,
room.
we have solid health. We have solid damage. I think we are.
Armor witches are the enemy condition chariots that we want to see in Tartarus, Elysium. Whereas they're worth like nothing in Tartarus, they're worth so much in Elysium when they're armored for some reason. And they also die very fast. So.
The power of the gods.
I'm gonna
just
go
see armor witches.
check this out.
What about these?
Oh, whoops. I was just gonna buy whatever health was there. I forgot that could happen. That's fine.
Yeah, what we got there was a little more money at the cost of health, when usually that's health at the cost of money.
Heroes can be one of the trickier fights when it comes to Hera. Not too bad here, but oftentimes you can get your cast stuck in one hero and then they take it across the room, you gotta chase it down. Theseus' shield blocks them, and it can just be a whole adventure sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we know all about that one.
Very clean fight there. We're moving on to the last sticks of the run.
Do some shopping first.
As I take it, boy.
Wells were not treating me nicely here.
So close.
Just like with Beowulf, we really want to see extra cast damage or extra cast stones for Hera.
One of these tunnels. Maybe this way.
Their tractor sticks. Without Snowburst, this can be quite awful sometimes, but It's not great, but it's not terrible either.
Yeah, we got a little bit of damage here. Like, we have Mirage. What are we at, level 7 cast?
Yeah, and an extra stone. It's nice. It's nice.
That's one of their layers.
We got what we call a short tunnel.
Nice try.
Tunnels and sticks can be 3 combats, and then the mini boss or combat, or 4 tunnels, and then the last one.
Maybe it's in here.
For the second one on the mod pack, it's always 3 tunnels, but that first tunnel can sometimes be 3 rooms or 4 rooms. Really nice when it's 3 rooms.
It's no use.
Yeah, this sticks was really nice to me. So, damn it.
Oh,
Oh, I didn't want to. I was gonna say something, and I didn't want to say it until we saw the enemies in this room. But we had avoided the little rats until now, which they're the bad enemy of sticks. They spawn in a bunch. You can kill them instantly, but it's gonna take time just because they have to spawn in forever. But we only had 1 tunnel of them, which is not too bad.
Thanks, boy.
Alright, and our last
That's
fight.
it for our last sticks.
stat fight.
And this is where that quick reload boon that we picked up earlier is going to be pretty nice for us
Right,
because
this is it.
Hades having most health in the game, it's definitely going to be the place where your casts get lodged into the boss without killing them. And, you know, we're only going to be waiting 2.5 seconds to get those back instead of the 5 that we would have normally.
There's not that many glitches in Hades.
Here's one.
Oh,
thought I had it.
close. Yeah, what Mads is trying to do is when Hades is up against a wall or some kind of object, you hit him with your cast at a certain angle, cast
Just
will
like that.
immediately right out, like you saw right there,
Finish them.
and you can immediately just pick them up and fire them again.
Enough of you.
And we'll be coming up on time right after this second phase.
Got me.
Time.
There we go.
Woof.
Oh,
Okay.
oh, never mind. that was the delay. I thought that was 50 flat.
Boy,
Very nice.
Yeah, 49.57, I
Ease.
think. Okay. We got through.
In the name of
That
Hades.
was some sketch Hades at times there, but that is modded 3 weapons, and that happens sometimes. So yeah, there we go. That was a lot of fun. I enjoyed that. It's kind of fun doing some reset lists. I got like okay builds. It was really the Tartarus for Bayo and the end of Eris that were really kind of stinky. But that was a good time. Arcalena and Lanaruse, do you have anything you want to plug or say before we head out?
No, just shout out Hades community. They're great. Congrats on the solid run, Mats.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for being here. And as always, I feel like we hear this all the time when Hades is shown off, but Hades is such a great speed game to get into speedrunning. It's really, really kind of beginner friendly from the perspective of both we can use in-game timers, so you can pause and stuff, but also the community has so many resources and they're so welcoming. So if anyone's out there and wants to get into speedrunning, you've like played Hades or whatever, yeah, stop by the Discord and check us out. Otherwise, that's about all I have. And thanks for watching, y'all, and we have some cool more runs for the rest of the weekend.
Amazing. Well, thanks so much to Mads and the lovely commentary team who led us through that Hades 3 modded Weps run. It's always amazing to see those kind of runs, and I think it was loads of fun.
Thanks.
So I have both some bad news and some good news for everyone. Bad news for me is this is the end of my hosting shift, so I will be leaving you all for the evening. It has been such a joy to hang out here with the Lady Arcaders Super Showcase, raising money for Rethink Breast Cancer. My name is Lanaruse. It is always a joy to be here on the host mic. and I am so excited to have been able to spend a few hours with all of you. But the good news is we have another amazing host, Charbunny, who will be taking over right after this. So hold on tight. We'll catch you for more runs and more raising money for charity right after this. Bye.
rise and shine. Don't you know the time? They will pass you by. Lots of things to do, strategies to think through, 'cause the race is soon. Start the day out right, with some fruit delight, joy with every bite. Mangoes and cherries, grapes and strawberries, yummy so very. So relax, unwind, your overthinking mind, with a bowl of
Hello everyone, my name is Charbunny and you are watching the Lady Arcaders Super Showcase. We're playing games and raising money for a fantastic cause, Rethink Breast Cancer. Thank you so much all for donating. We have raised over $1,000 already. Thank you to donations like this one. We have a $35 donation from No Dusa, who says, nope, no Dusa. And that goes towards our bid war. We have a bid war for one of our showcases tomorrow. Scala's Art Showcase emote vote currently has Ooh La La info in the lead with $35 from that donation. But Dusa Lurk is at $25, so there's still plenty of time to swing around and get that bid war.